who that is?
Jim Ringo.
That's Jim Ringo. We were teammates. That was at a game at Cornell. I was on defense. Ringo played offense. I couldn't beat him out. He was all pro for 10 years. That was tough. But that's...
Coach, tell them how they had no face masks back then.
Can't you tell that? You know what? The face mask and the mouthpieces and everything else gave our kids tremendous courage. We didn't have them, so we couldn't do that. They tackled with their heads and everything else. They tell you how dangerous that all is. We didn't dare do that because your face was in front of you. Lots of teeth problems. That was the picture in the bottom was the beginning of my career, and I've had a lot of enjoyment out of coaching. I've had a lot of people, that young man that just spoke. He didn't tell you he had an older brother who didn't want to play football. He didn't even want to play, and I made him play. He played center for me, and he played. He didn't want to play, but I said, you're playing anyway. I remember the day that his grandfather died. Was it your grandfather that passed away? Yeah. The next day he was there, right after the funeral, he was there and he played. So that's an example, probably. I have enjoyed every minute of my coaching career. From the first day I walked on the field, and there's a young man here, God, he can't be young. There is a player here. Would you stand up, Anthony, please? He played in my first high school football game that I coached. We won 7-6, right? We won 7-6. That was my first high school.
You had a better baseball team, though.
Well, you know, people think of me as a football coach, and I don't like to be one. I am a football coach. But I coached varsity baseball for I don't know how many years, well, 450 games we played. But anyways, I played baseball. When I went to Coxsackie to be a coach, the coach that was there before me was a math teacher, and he had a tough record because he was 17-1 the year that I went there, before. I took his job over, and we had to do better, so we were 18-0, right? We won every game the next season. But I had good players. And you know, people will tell you, I just told somebody this once before, they tell you how good a coach they are. No. Tell them how good a players you get. I had some great athletes, and this is what makes you a great coach. You can't make people that good. I had kids that were good athletes, and they played well for me. And I worked hard at it. I lived it. Even with these young kids that I coached the last 20 years. I laid in bed last night and tried to think of what I could do, but I couldn't get on the field. That's the part that I think encouraged me not to coach anymore. I had to be on the field in order to be with the kids. I had to go out on the field. If I could go into the huddle and tell them what to do, they did what I told them what to do. And that's the difference, and that's why I just can't coach anymore like that. That's not a way to coach. I can't stand on the sidelines and yell, run the scissors, or do this or do that. I did that for years. It's just, I can tell you, Mark probably was playing when I would yell a play out, Mark, run 46, and the kids would say, Coach, you're telling him what you're going to run. As you do what I tell you, and it doesn't make any difference. You just block and do what you're supposed to do. The play will go, don't worry. I said, I'll give them our whole playbook. Block what they want to block, and that's how it works out. Coach will tell you that. Just do what you're supposed to do, and it doesn't matter. So it's just Louis Famiano, who played for me in 1957. He always referred to me as the only real Draper man, because I'm a Viking. Draper were Vikings. Mark will remember the time we upset Ravenna. They were undefeated. They had averaged 60 points a game. They were 7-0, and they came up to Rotterdam, and we took them down to the glass bowl down there where the broken glass and everything else was. The Johnstown kids used to come down, and they'd walk out on the field, and they'd say, Coach, you guys play on this? My kids would say, play, we practice on it. And when the kids weren't good, I'd say to them, okay, we're going over on the hill, and we're gonna climb up and down the hill by the girls' club, and it was full of prickers. We didn't do it, but that's where we ended up. And then Mr. Legier would come to see me, and I'd forget they were running. And they'd say, geez, I wish Mr. Legier didn't come. Yes, I've had some experiences that Mark said to me in that game against Ravenna. He said, the first time they got the ball, they scored. The next time we got the ball, we ran the ball 2 or 3 plays, and I think it was 4th down on our own 27-yard line. They come out of the huddle and ready to run a play. And I thought, geez, Mark didn't know it's 4th down. And I'm screaming to him, Mark, it's 4th down, you got to punt. Mark gives me one of these. He called the play, didn't tell anyone else on the field that he was going to keep the ball. Bobby Bond could tell you, Bobby was the fullback. Bobby was supposed to get the ball. Mark ran the play, didn't give the ball to Bobby, put the ball behind his leg and trotted around the end for about 30 yards. I said, Mark, why did you do that? Well, he says, Coach, if we gave them the ball, they were going to score. I didn't give them the ball. That's the way we played it, though. I let the kids think for themselves. I tried to tell them they weren't doing that, but they did. I had some kids that could think. And I think that's a lot with football. You got to be able to think yourself. I watch kids today, and I coach today. I coached today, and I've coached for the last 22 years, and I've learned so much from these young kids. You know, they try hard. Their interest spans are short, and sometimes they're never short of courage. I've always said that, because if you walk out on that field, that's courage. Just to be out there. So you know, I have a little guy here. Where is he? Get up, stand up. Look at that. How much do you weigh? About 80 pounds. Is he too little to play? No. Ask Dean Chisano. Dean Chisano told me one time, Coach, don't you ever tell me I'm too small. He was 125 pounds. He played wingback. Right, Mark? They're just the people that you get involved with in your life. Dean was so hurt bad, he was hurt so bad one time that his arm was like this. And I thought he had padding on it. It wasn't padding, his arm was swollen. And it didn't matter. But those kids that I taught at Draper were just, and I don't, it's Rotterdam. Those kids played no matter what happened. It didn't matter. They came to play, and I was there, and I enjoyed every year of it. And I don't know, the kids today, they play. They're all there. You know, the junior high kids, everybody said, oh, how bad they are and everything. That you know, the junior high. No. That doesn't take long. If you don't do it right, you don't come anymore. I say, go home. Don't bother to play. You got to dedicate yourself to something, and some of them do, and some don't. But it's an experience. The Draper kids all did. I'm sorry, but they all did. The Draper kid was a special kid. Mr. Pileshi, who you all know, taught here at Mohonasen, when we consolidated one day, somebody said to him, they said, Pete, how do you tell the difference between a Draper kid and a Mohonasen kid? Oh, he says, Coach, that's simple. He says, just roll the ball on the floor and see who gets it. that was his theory. He said, all you got to do is roll it out there. You'll know who's going to get it. So, and I hear my grandsons talk about it. My oldest grandson is a musician. I told my wife, if I had a kid, I'd break his hands if he was playing the piano.